Alright, we're gonna make a model. This is a cap for my product. So we start on default. I already got the inside part. The inside part looks like this. Okay, and then we're gonna use that to cut. Boolean cut. Okay, so I'm gonna make that disappear. Now we're gonna do the outside. So object mode, and then we're gonna do add a cylinder like that. I'm going to zoom in. Okay. So with this guy, we're going to set dimensions. You're going to select item over here and select dimensions. So everything's going to be 1 millimeter size. And then we're going to bevel this guy, which means I got to go over to edit mode, and then we're going to select this face. Make sure you're selecting face. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to bevel it, and we're going to pull it something like that. Okay. And when I get in there, I'm going to put segments in it to round it off. I don't know, 3 or 5. Let's do 5. Now this very top guy right here, I don't want it to be completely flat. I want it to kind of gradually round up a little bit, but not as prominent as this. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this over to this center here, and then you could change that by hitting Z, and it zeroes completely. So you're looking at the front part of it. And so what I'm going to do is I select it, and then right click, and then we're going to insert faces, and then you can use your mouse and tell it how many faces you want it to insert. All right. So I think that's as many as I can get. I don't understand that. All right, we're just going to click. All right, so basically inserted some more faces here. And what I want to do is I want to lift these guys right up here so they're not super flat. So I select that face, and then I come over to transform. Transform actually does a smooth pull up. You can see those guys come up just a little bit. All right, you can see that. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I get this center pretty small. So I'm going to insert faces and go down as small as I can. Click. All right, so it's the very top, super flat. So let's move this down a little bit. And then on transform, I'm going to pull it up just a little bit to kind of give it more of a curve there, so it's smooth. And let's do it again. I'm gonna right click in here, make sure that face is in there. We're gonna insert faces, and I'm gonna go in as many as I can. And that's a flat spot, so I'm gonna pull it up just a little bit, like that. And let's do it again. We're going to insert faces, and this may be the last time iteration I didn't do this. So I'm going to zoom out and then back in. Let me shift key and move that. And then I can get a closer look, and then I'm going to pull that guy up just a little bit. All right. And let's look at the side profile here. Let's turn that off so I can see what I'm doing. I said, let's turn that off. So I get this gradual by inserting more faces, and then transforming, I get this gradual up slope right here. Because the idea is, I don't want, when I start 3D printing, is a complete flat spot on there. I want it to kind of gradually pull it up into this nice little peak right here. So it looks better than a flat thing. When I 3D print for flat, it doesn't look good. So this may give me a little bit more. Okay. So I got that, and so now I'm gonna do the bottom part. I'm gonna bevel the bottom part too as well. Let's take a look at the size here. Object size. Okay, we're gonna be scaling this here pretty soon. So just remember, I want it a 1 by 1 by 1 scale. So, okay, let's select Z. The other Z. No, hold on. There it is. That's the bottom part. So I'm going to make sure I'm in edit mode, and then my cursor, and I select and make sure that face is the only one that's selected. Okay. And then we're going to bevel that one. I do a little bit of bevel in there. Okay. And I think I can round that just a little bit, and I usually just add, I don't know, 2 or 3. I'm just going to go with 2, because when this prints up, now let's go with 3. All right. That's a smooth bevel. It's not a hard flat surface, but I got enough bottom in here I can deal with. Okay. So that looks good there. Now, my scale, I need to get it to 1:1. So while I'm in, let's go back to edit object mode, and before I transform it, I want to get all of these faces nice and smooth around it. I'll show you that in a little bit, but I need to scale it before I can do that. So I'm going to do object, and then I'm going to apply scale. Now everything's 1:1. Okay, this is the basic shape that I want, and now I'm going to smooth this thing. And so we do a modifier. I'm going to add that modifier and generate. First thing I got to do is an edge split, and then I add a second modifier, and that's a subdivision surface. And you can see at 1 level, it's starting to smooth out. I like to do 2, maybe 3. If I go too much, then when I convert this to a model, an object, waveform or front, it gets too big. So this, I think up to 3 is good, and that's super smooth. You can tell, maybe, if you get in there and you can see, the faces, and it splits it down quite a bit. Now, that's not bad, okay? Because when you 3D print, you're not going to get that kind of stuff. So let's just take a look here. Looks good. So, well, this one's bigger. Oh, that's because I stretched the top. So I want to change that to 1. Okay, you can see it kind of shrunk it down a little bit. Let's go over to my object, and it changes it there. So I want to make sure everything's 1:1, because this one's going to have, I'm 3D printing it, so it's got to be pretty precise for my millimeters. So I'm going to apply a scale. Now it's 1:1, 1 here, 1 here. Good. So now I'm ready to do some cuts in here. Not yet. Now I'm gonna go and size this thing. I gotta scale it to exactly what I want. And what I have for X and Y is 15. And then my Z is 12. Okay. So let's pull this back. All right. That's the size I want. Okay. Now I'm gonna cut the inside, the inside here. So let's view that inside. All right. So let's make it transparent so I can see the inside. All right. Pretty close. So let me select the object I'm cutting from, and then make sure I'm on, a side profile. And I'm just looking at where, do I have enough sidewall here? So this is the sidewall. I should have the sidewall about the same here. So that looks good. I don't think I'm going to do anything with it. And the reason why I have the inside nice and round like this, when I 3D print, I got some support that goes down the middle here. And I just have real minimum support. And that buys me like a easy clean out. And since it's round, it prints really good on the inside. If I was to do this on the outside, it works just fine. Now, if I was to do the inside, the same profile as the outside part, my supports would just fill too much the inside, and it's hard to clean out. So, and I'll show you with my with the slicer here what that really looks like when I do that. So, like for example, that light blue right there is the support. It's very minimal. And then when you get really close to the inside peak, it's almost closed. You can see how it just does the inside arch real good without any supports. And it just needs that little tiny bump right there. And that's all it's connected to it. And then when I finish it out, it looks like that. And that way my clean out's real good. So I'm going to do a cut. All right, so I take my object, I'm going to cut, and we're going to do a modifier. Oh, let's while we're here, let's just add and let's apply those modifiers for smoothing my sides. Okay. And now we're going to make sure I'm adding my modifier, boolean, and then my object. I got my inside guy. Okay, I'm gonna make that go away, and then I'm double checking this thing. Let's do X-ray off. Let's just see. Ooh, and it looks nice and smooth. All right, so I think I'm really good and happy with that. So I'm going to apply that, and we're almost done here. So while I'm at it, I like it to get to this point before I remesh. I don't want to remesh and then I have to modify something in here. It's easier for me to do everything up to remesh, and then I save it. I save my thing, and then now I'm going to add my modifier, and we're going to remesh. Looks yucky. So I like to use sharp on this guy, and then my depth, let's see. I don't want to go too high because my file size get too crazy big. So I just go until it smooths out. You can use smoother blocks and stuff, but I think my sharp looks good. Let's zoom in. You could barely see that stuff. So, like the actual size, these little, you're not going to see these faces. Okay. So, all right. That looks good. And then just for fun, we're going to look at the, let's see. There we go. And that's how many more faces I did with that remesh. So it looks pretty good and even. I'm pretty happy with that guy. So let's just put the shade on. All right. So from here, I do export, and then it will be wavefront object, and it's going to be named whatever I name the file. So I'm going to export that thing. So let's see. And what did I call that thing? Cap 7. Oh, caps. Yeah, okay. Let's double check. So the Windows 3D viewer, it's nice, it's smooth. Any cuts that you have, you don't want to see like artifacts and stuff. You want to make sure it definitely looks good. So it looks really, really good. And the file size like pretty small. I mean, this is what I'm expecting that file size to be. Okay? Right there. So, and with that, and then I'll go to this guy. I'm going to set it up for like 3D printing. And I'll drag this guy over. It's pretty small, so it's gonna, yep, it's gonna populate in there, and I need to lay it flat. And let's see, select, and I'm gonna 90 degree down, and it'll drop itself down. Okay. All right. Do a little inspection in there. Make sure it drops pretty good. It's not too bad. All right, let's double check in the size. Okay, that's pretty close to what I needed. All right. Now, let's see. We are going to slice this guy, and then I'm going to show you what this looks like. We'll preview, and then I'll back it off. All right. So you want to check all this and make sure it looks good. In this case, my support's right in the center, very minimal, and my seed layer, I want to make sure it looks pretty good. It's okay. And I'm walking it up as a simulated build, and you can see that support just barely covers right there. And then I get my soft dome on there. I wanted to achieve a softer dome than a completely flat top, because that flat top doesn't, look very nice at print. So that looks good. So that pretty much does that. So that's a good model.